But the boy said that he couldn't beat him before. Maybe he could turn around overnight and even marry into a rich family. I didn't expect this to be heard by the ex-husband and the new daughter-in-law. The two laughed together, ridiculed him at a young age. His teeth had not yet grown, and he was still learning to play drums, and his father-in-law was lucky to have divorced long ago. Otherwise, he would not have been bothered by this little rabbit. But the woman took advantage of the relationship with the boy, so as not to lose his blood after a few days, and the third time to beg for himself. But the boy said that he didn't need a few days, and the stock would rise in 3 minutes, and the third time would be them. And the new daughter-in-law seemed to hear a big joke, and he immediately proposed a bet. If the stock fell within 3 minutes, if it rose, he would kneel down and admit his mistake to his mother and son in public. And the mother held her son's hand repeatedly to persuade him to give up this ridiculous bet. And the new daughter-in-law next to her was so aggressive that she laughed at him that the 3 generations of the family were poor ghosts. And the woman looked at her son with a firm look in her eyes, and finally chose to believe him unconditionally this time. No matter what the consequences were, he could bear it. And everyone thought that this mother and son would lose without a doubt. And even the president next to him shook his head in secret. And then he left in a hurry. But he fell crazy all the way when the countdown began. And his mother looked at the number of numbers that kept jumping, and she didn't want her son to be prepared to fall. At the critical moment, the exchange suddenly broadcasted an emergency news, and a military conflict broke out abroad, and the international gold price exploded instantly, and the stock bought by the boy was like a wild horse flying into the sky. And the other side of the president also received the news. The international situation changed, and the stock he invested in was all lost, and he thought of what the boy said before, and he ordered his assistant to buy all the gold-related stocks, and after 9 days, they were all sold out. And this is when the father and the new daughter-in-law instantly turned into ashes, and the boy immediately asked them to make a bet to kneel down and admit their mistakes. Who knew that the other party would not admit their mistakes, but rather call for a fight? And he said that he would break the legs of the mother and son. And at the critical moment, the mother and son were very angry, and the father and son were very angry, and the mother and son were very angry, and the father and son were very angry. The door suddenly pushed open, and the president rushed to visit the little god with a bodyguard.